Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is episode 15. Can you believe it? Of Group Talks with Noel. Thank you so much for choosing to click on the video and check out what we're going to discuss tonight, or what I'm going to share with you tonight. As always, if you want to contact me, you know what to do. grieftalkswithnoel@gmail.com. Thank you to my friend, my longtime friend, who I hadn't heard from in years, who emailed me recently, last week, maybe earlier this week, and just said how touched and how impacted that he was by the vulnerability that I chose to display in particular on the channel. And I just want everybody to know that, yes, I present very demonstratively. Yes, I do a lot of facial expressions, and I, move my hands a lot and make a lot of faces. I make jokes and all that stuff because I'm an actress by trade. So that's what I do. But this is really my real life. These are my real feelings. There's nothing, theatrical about my actual experience. This is what I'm really going through. It's just I'm presenting it in a very, I try to present it in a vibrant way, but this is definitely real. And I want you to never forget that. Don't ever think that I'm in a different boat than you are just because I smile about it a lot more. I had to get to this place. It took me a long time to even get here, to be able to talk about this with you, and I'm still dealing with it. It's only been, I think this week will be 16 months for me, whenever the 19th is. I think it's Sunday, maybe. I don't know. But 16 months since I lost my dad, and that's not a long time at all. But I did not get to the point where I was able to even think about helping somebody else, using my pain to help somebody else, until I was at the year mark. So it was definitely a journey for me. So don't think that this is easy, or this, is any less severe than what you're going through. It's been a little longer for me than probably some of you watching. And so with that, I'm more braced, I'm more prepared for what to expect now. So I'm able to compose myself just a little bit more than I used to be able to. So, but anyway, like I said, thank you again to my friend. And I just wanted to reiterate the sincerity and the genuine nature of this channel. I don't want to formalize it or make it too glamorous, I guess. And I've had people who've reached out to me out of the kindness of their hearts, and they wanted to help me with production. They wanted to do my tapings for me and all that stuff. And whereas I appreciate that so much, I'm so grateful to them, I don't want to possibly taint the rawness of what we feel by making it too fancy, if that makes any sense. Like, these are our real lives we're talking about here, the rawness of our emotion. I want to capture that. So sometimes I cry, sometimes I'm like, snotting. This is not a scripted thing. It's structured in that I know what I'm going to say, but I don't plan out my every word before I say it to you. So, and I want to keep it that way. I want to be able to capture that genuine emotion, and I want it to feel intimate too. Like, I want you to feel like I'm talking just to you, and you're, I guess, talking, maybe not talking, but I want it to feel like an intimate, personal conversation, private dialogue between, yourself, you and me, who are in the same boat together. So I'm very sensitive to the purity of this channel. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that, okay? Tonight, episode 15 is called Breathe. Breathe. A very simple concept, a very automatic concept that our bodies engage in without even, you don't have to tell your body to breathe. It's just something that God has pre-programmed us to be able to do. But for grieving people, it's difficult to do that sometimes. It's difficult to remember to do that. And we're going to talk about why. Okay? So here we go. I mentioned that I'm a performer by trade, by profession, I guess. And one of the components of my performance is I also do instruction. So I am a vocal coach, a vocal instructor as well. And one of the first things that I talk to my clients about is the importance of breathing. Whereas you don't even think about it in most cases, but if you're a singer, you're a vocalist, in the middle of your performance, you have so many other things to think about. You have to think about lyrics, you have to think about tempo, you have to think about syncopation, you have to think about pitch, you have to think about dynamics, vibrato, riffs, and running. Like, there's so many different things, stage presence. You got to think about all this stuff at once. So much is going on. Things are so chaotic during your performance that you might actually forget to do one thing, the one thing that's probably the most critical to your efficient, successful vocal performance, and that is breathing. You might forget to actually intentionally purposefully breathe. Because as a vocalist, you got so much going on. You got your mind is all over the place. There's so many other things distracting you, so many other things pulling on your attention that you might forget to breathe. It's the same thing with grieving. There's so much going on in your head. Your emotions are all out of control. Your family might be tugging at you. There might be drama in your family. There might be chaos. You're trying to figure out finances. You're trying to rewire your entire life. And sometimes, as you're overwhelmed with all that, you might forget to breathe. But it's so critical. It's so important that you remember to do that. Because breathing, aside from it being something that you have to do essentially to survive, it's so regulatory. It's so regulating. It really is. So as you're going through, you're just all over the place. Your mind is scrambled eggs. You've got to remember to intentionally take a break and breathe. I was talking to someone I know recently, communicating with her earlier this week, and she's was getting ready to bury her dad, and she told me, this is like the hardest thing ever. I don't think I can handle it. And I told her, I understand, what you're going through. I feel your pain, literally. And there have been other situations in your life that you've undoubtedly faced where you didn't think that you were going to get through them, but you did. Other times in your life where you didn't think that you were going to make it through, but you did. No, I'm not trivializing what you're going through, but it's the same kind of principle. When I feel like I can't do something, that's because I feel like it in that moment. But the way that I get through it is 1 second at a time and literally one breath at a time. And I encouraged her, breathe through the day. You've got to remember to breathe. I remember at my dad's funeral when they were getting ready to close the casket, like I was like in such a tizzy. I was screaming at the casket. It's like a movie. I'm sorry, but that was real. I was, and there was a point where I stopped breathing, I guess. Of course I was breathing, but I was not actually exhaling. And my mother, I remember hearing her say to me, hey, you're getting ready to go into another dimension. You got to breathe. Muff, breathe, Muffy, breathe. And I had to actually remember to breathe, because I was so distracted and so consumed by all the other things I was feeling. Gotta remember to breathe. I know it's crazy. I know it hurts. I know it feels like you can't breathe. This process of trying to gather up the pieces of your now fragmented, shattered life, it's asphyxiating. It's choking. It's suffocating. It's constricting. And there are moments, many moments, where you literally feel like you cannot breathe. I know that feeling. But you've got to force yourself to do something that would naturally be automatic. You've got to force yourself to pay attention to something that is now not a natural function because you're so distracted by other things. You've got to force yourself to intentionally, purposefully breathe. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So believe it or not, I'm gonna treat you like you're one of my clients right now. And we are going to very simply do some relaxation, just one exercise that I do with my clients. So if you will, indulge me. We're going to work on breathing and relaxing. So you're probably sitting down watching this. Just let your shoulders get a little loose. And now roll your shoulders forward 10 times. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. 8, 9, 10. Good. Now back 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're trying to relieve our bodies of physical tension. Let your head drop down to the center of your chest and roll it around. Good. Now go the other way. Very good. And now we're going to inhale, hold it for a count of 5, and exhale. Inhale through our nose, exhale through our mouth. Why do people say breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth? Because that automatically causes your heart rate to slow down. And as your heart rate slows down, you start to calm down. So it's a very effective way of trying to regulate, trying to self-soothe, trying to control yourself as you're getting into this tizzy. Okay, so relax yourself in through your nose, Out through your mouth. One more time, in through your nose. Out through your mouth. It's very calming. It's very cleansing if you give it an actual chance. Keep your shoulders loose, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe. You have to remember to do it intentionally. And that may have seemed a little silly what I just did, but I promise you, you've got to take those moments during the day, during whatever experience you're going through, and actually remember to breathe. Think about women that are in labor. They tell them to breathe, all that Lamaze. They do. I've never been through it, but I've seen it in movies. They have them breathing like that because they want to help them get control over what they're feeling. It's not magical. There's nothing magical about breathing in that way. It doesn't magically make their labor pain go away, but they're trying to help them regain control, grab onto the reins a little bit of something that they feel like they've that's out of their control, that's out of whack right now. So the pain, the physical pain they're feeling is so intense, the breathing helps them to regulate their mind and to calm down and to get control of their body a little bit. Emotionally, your emotions are out of control. Your emotions are out of whack. Breathing helps you to regulate, helps you to calm down, helps you to get control of what you're feeling. You've got to breathe, my loves, intentionally, on purpose. One more thing before we go. I made a little acronym for breathe. Actually, it's breather, taking a breather during this process. And I've given each letter of the word breather a meaning or something like that. You'll see what I mean. Okay, so be still. Try to freeze wherever you are. Take a minute and just be still. R, recenter your focus. So much is going on right now, but try your best to zero in on one thing. If there's an item in the room you want to focus on, if there's an image in your mind you want to focus on, one that does not make you break down, recenter your focus and try your best to bring it in to help yourself calm down and regulate. E, expand your lungs. Breathing is an action that requires the lungs. The lungs are filled up with air, and you let it out. A, acknowledge your feelings. If you're overwhelmed, say that. If you're sad, say that. If you're stressed out, say that. If you're mad, say that. Whatever's going on in you, A, acknowledge your feelings. T, thank God for something. Take a moment to express some gratitude even while you're feeling overwhelmed. Take a moment to express gratitude for whatever you have. God, this is crazy. I'm in pain. I'm in so much pain. Everything is nuts. My family is bothering me. Everything is good. But I thank you for life. I thank you for the ability to feel. Find something to thank God about. H, hope for better days. Believe that this part is temporary, that you'll eventually get to the point where it doesn't get easier, but it gets better. E, exhale. And finally, R, repeat as needed. Remember to breathe, my loves. It's a critical part of this process. So, intentionally, purposefully, breathe. Thanks so much for checking out episode 15 of Grief Talks with Noel, and I'll see you next week. And let's keep talking. Bye.